couple of years ago, I decided to start planting potatoes. I went to a big box store. I think it was either Lowe's or Home Depot, probably Home Depot, and I got some Yukon Gold seed potatoes. Well, they were pretty shriveled up by the time I got them, but I planted them and I got a crop. And then the next year, I took some things from that crop to plant the following year's crop. Because of Hurricane Ian, this was in Florida, a lot of them didn't come out too big. Some I used, and I searched and found that I could always just plant them for this year. So I have some of them left over here. And I've been chitting them. You want to put them in light so that they can grow hopefully about an inch of a stem before you plant them. You don't have to chit. It is recommended to do no more than 2 or 3 chits per potato. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of smaller potatoes. So then this year, I was thinking of ordering online some certified organic seed potatoes. You definitely don't want to use regular potatoes if they're not organic in the store, because then they have things that retard their growth so that they'll stay nice and fresh for you for eating, and that's not going to promote the next growth. So I ended up, however, being in Sam's, and for about $14, they had seed potatoes, and it was a pack of 24. I've got some Adirondack Blue, Red Norland, and Gold Rush, Russet, 4, 10, and 10. So I decided, for $14, I would try it. And so I opened up the seed potatoes and was a little surprised, and I did some research on what I found. First of all, with seed potatoes, generally you want them to be in the range of 1.5, 2 ounces. And of the Adirondack ones, a couple of them were much bigger. They're big enough to produce 2. So with these, I'm going to cut them. And by splitting them, I'll have one of the big chits on each, and I want to wait a few days for it to heal over before planting it. But that will be fine. And I also researched about that fuzz. And for these kinds of potatoes, that fuzz is basically like little cilia or root hairs, so that's okay. So, yeah, I've never done blue potatoes before, and this will be an experiment. Now, I also found that with the other potatoes, here's a nice one here. This one is too small to split, but it's got 2, so I can plant them face up. These potatoes that I bought at Sam's are all determinate potatoes. You do not have to worry with determinate potatoes about hilling, because they basically produce pretty much on one level, and they don't take that long to come to fruition. With the indeterminates, you start them down, and then you put a little more soil as the greens grow, and a little more soil as the greens grow, etc. And that way some of the stems become roots, and you get higher and higher up more potatoes. But these are determinate, and they're going to all bloom at once. But there are some that have a very long shoots reaching out. So I researched that. And these shoots that are long like that are probably because of searching for light. They were not treated in the full time period in the ideal light conditions, maybe because they were in a package in the store, which is like a brown paper bag with some holes in it. And so they're reaching for light. So what is a grower to do? Well, I've seen different opinions. Some say to just plant them anyway, because if you take them off, that the energy that went into them will be lost and the potato will basically be focusing on recreating instead of growing the potatoes you want. However, since you don't want more than 2 or 3 chits per potato, certainly you can take off some of the extra ones and even extra long ones. And if you look closely, you could even see where some greens and branches and stuff are going to be coming out of these. So I can cut it down. Certainly I'll take off that wiggly one down there and have that more appropriate. So I have here the red New Orleans, and I have here the blue Adirondack blue, and over here is the russet Gold Rush potatoes. And so I'm going to go through them, and the ones that need to be cut in half, they'll be planted after a few days, and the others I'm going to trim down so there's no more than 2 or 3 chits per potato, and I'm probably going to limit some of the long ones so that we can have our best possible harvest, because we want to help maximize. Here's a really good example right here. You can even see the green that's coming out right over there. So that's going to be, you've already got the branches forming for the potatoes to grow. And so excited at the variety. Now for spacing of the potatoes, I've seen generally 8 to 12 inches maybe apart, and the rows did like maybe 1 to 2 feet apart. Basically in square foot gardening, some people will put 4 to a square foot. Some people will put 1. I have read basically that when you have more per square foot, you get more smaller potatoes. Now, I don't really mind smaller potatoes. I'm not making baked potatoes. My husband is on a special diet that boiled potatoes are better for him, and I can mash potatoes or just serve them boiled. So because of that, and since I don't skin them because the skin has so much nutrition, I think I'm going to play around and have some of them 1 per square inch, some of them 2, some of them 4, and see the results for myself, which I can show in a later video. Your yield will generally be 6 to 10 pounds of potato per pound of seed potato. So we're going to get a bit of potato to start with. We may plant more a little later in the season, maybe other varieties. Although I live with my husband, a couple of miles away is my daughter and her husband and their 3 children. So at times I'm feeding 2 people, and at times I'm feeding 7. Potatoes do like a slightly acidic soil. So if your soil is not at a pH of 5.8 to 6.5, then you may want to add something to it to help the acidity level. And in a video very soon, I'm going to be going over how I prepare soil. I do a combination of old soil, new soil, compost, peat, coco coir, and various nutrients to replenish used soil. This bed has already been prepared, and I didn't plant a lot of things in it, so I do have space to be able to put some potatoes here if I check and make sure that the plants that are already in here are all right as potato companion plants. With companion plants, some plants will attract or repel different pests or friends or diseases or flavors that can affect the other plants nearby. Now checked, and since I have some brassicas, which won't be in here too much longer, some chives, and this lemon balm is in the mint family, everything that's in this bed will get along fine with the potatoes. First square, I'm going to put this red Norland, and what I see here is some right here. That one's got some green on it, and that one's got some green on it. So I'm going to have these two chits facing up, and then the others I'm going to remove so that I can plant this. Okay, the red Norland will be all alone in this whole square foot, so hopefully this will maximize the harvest. I have labeled it with today's date so that I know what should come from the square. I have another square over there, and I'll probably put 4 of the red Norlands in that one.